This is the Freedom Ring.
Righty. Hello to everyone watching live on Rumble. Make sure you share, like, and most importantly, subscribe. Spread the word, help us out, get the message out there, and if anything ever happens to our show or you suddenly can't find it, remember, you will always find it at our website, freedomringshow.com. But if you're watching on Rumble, give us a rumble, and please do subscribe. Coming up on the show today, the big hoax we'll be getting to, or is it a hoax? Don't know. What version of the story are you believing, or have you heard yet? We'll get to that. Also, is Hillary actually admitting guilt? Has Hillary Clinton ever done that? Could be a sign that she is right now. And who gave Pelosi the big smackdown? I'm Matt Toludo. That is Bill Spry. And we have a bet going on right now that the shade that's behind him. Now, there's a shade. If you've watched all the episodes so far, sometimes the shade's up, sometimes it's down. We prefer it down because it just adjusts the lighting better. Yeah. And the last couple of days, it scared the living crap out of us.
It's just like, boom!
within seconds, it just goes...
And by that time, I'd already pressed the button, so it's like, well, I can't get up.
Yeah, so we just rolled with it. Before we get to all this fun news, we always like to start the show with a little bit of faith, a positive message. And this particular meme kind of struck a note with me yesterday as I was reading it. Every time I thought I was being rejected from something good, God reminded me I was actually being redirected to something better, which brings us back to what we were talking at the start of yesterday's show, faith over fear. And wouldn't it be nice if most of it, because we've I can vouch for myself, I've lived a big portion of my life in fear. I think it's pretty common that we don't, unfortunately, put our faith in God enough. And we avoid going for that next job, the promotion.
Your dream.
Trading your family in for another one. No, I'm kidding. Never do that. No. By the way, I have to say happy birthday to my wife today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Probably the best thing that ever happened in my life besides my children.
And a long marriage you've had.
Considering today, the record for most marriages today, yes. 20... Oh, you had to do this and put me on the spot, huh? 28?
28 years.
Together for 32.
Okay.
Married for 28.
That's amazing. Really is.
Or is it 26?
Oh! I don't know how she's put up with you all these years. I mean...
The main part, I don't either. I mean... I've been my screwed up radio career, moving from city to city to city to city, my twisted sense of humor. I mean, I'm still mentally 12. I might be 18 by now, but she puts up with all of it. But anyway, happy birthday, honey. I know you're at home listening right now, and I thank you very much. But 27, my sister-in-law says. Thank you. My sister-in-law had to tell me. I'm a typical guy. I'm sorry.
But see, I got smart. My wife's birthday, this is just God's blessing. 2, 4, 6, 8. That's my wife's birthday.
That's easy.
I can never forget. If I forget that, I'm senile, brain dead, and just go ahead and put me in the ground. You know?
How do you remember 2, 4, 6, 8? Got it.
Yeah. But, thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Yeah, there you go. Back to a little moment of faith here. Unfortunately, we do put more trust and, I guess, fear than we do faith, which is so wrong. But whenever we've leaned on God and leaned on faith, I can speak for myself. It always has great results, you know? And kind of doing it right now with this show.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you know, we were talking earlier about your dreams. Stand up and seriously think about taking some action to fulfill your dreams. You can make them happen.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
That's where you lean on God, and God gets you through it.
But it's fun.
Oh, it's awesome. Whatever the path that He gives you is always more fun.
It really is. And I was telling Matt that I've lived all of my dreams. Who can say that? I've got one dream left. But it's not so. The older I get, the less important it is. But, I had a lawn service for 22 years, wanted to be self-employed. And you said lawn service. Some people would laugh at that. But for me, I loved it. I loved getting up early.
Because you weren't working for anybody but yourself.
Yeah, it was massive freedom. You get out there every day, and everything that you do, and all of your success is attributed to what you've done,
And you said you slept better back then.
I slept so much better.
Was it because you were physically exhausted, or because you knew that
you just feel so good about your life?
You had no one crawling down your collar there going,
no
faster,
worries,
longer.
No worries about your boss coming in the next day and firing you for something that you didn't do, or for whatever reason. You're in control of your life.
Wouldn't it be something wouldn't it suck, actually, if you got to the end of your life, you get up to the pearly gates, and God's just sitting there going, man, and you're like, what? If you just would have picked up that phone call, do you have any idea who I arranged to be on the other end of that? And you would have been not only a multimillionaire, but then he turns the TV screen around and gives you all the moments of your life that you missed because you didn't take the jump, because you didn't have enough faith. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what more of us should be doing. And in a lot of different ways, not just with our careers, not just with our marriages and picking, spouses and whatnot, but dealing with the world today. Stop living in fear. Turn the television off.
Exactly, man.
Stop living in fear. Stop believing everything you're being told. It's going to be segueing into our first story here, because either this isn't what we do on this show is we dig up stories that we know the mainstream media is not covering. All right, this particular story was covered by the mainstream media yesterday. Only it was told a lot different. Mm-hmm. All right? So we'll pick up from there. Hopefully you get fear out of your life and you put faith in, lean on God.
Take the first step.
And say a prayer as we start reading these stories, because they're twisted, man. Definitely a darker side of the world. Ukrainian authorities accused Russia of committing war crimes in Bitchute. Remember hearing about this yesterday? Mm-hmm. An area that's on the outskirts of Kyiv, alleging that Russia forces had killed over 400 citizens. However, Russian officials are claiming these allegations of war crimes are a false flag being peddled by the Ukrainian government. Again, it's a true story. It did happen, but what version? This isn't the version that was reported on television yesterday.
And if you believe the TV over what you just reported, why? That's the question I've got to ask. Why? Because you think that they've been honest with you since you've been watching it for all of these years?
Or is it just easier to consume news that way? And we'll just, whatever.
Yeah. Like you don't want to do the research, so you depend on them to tell you, well, there's other people that have been telling you for 5 years.
And this coming from two guys in the media, okay? This is an industry that we were involved in for a long, and still are involved in. We just know that when sponsors come along and pay enough, with their money and, by advertising time, they can influence any story that's told.
Or even dictate.
Or if you listen to a music station, they can cut enough money, they can give enough money to the radio station to alter programming.
And this is why we're broke.
According to reports, Russian forces entered the Bitchute area early on the Russian-Ukraine conflict, but had opted to withdraw from the area on March 30th. After Moscow decided to redirect their forces to the eastern portion of Ukraine. The Associated Press reported that their journalists saw the bodies of at least 21 people in various spots around Bitchute, all in civilian clothes, who appeared to have been killed at close range. Okay? That's the version that you saw on television yesterday. Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs released a statement on Twitter Quote, all Russian units withdrew completely from Bucha on March 30th. During the time that the town has been under the control of the Russian armed forces, not a single local resident had suffered from any violent action. The so-called evidence of crimes in Bucha did not emerge until the fourth day, when the Security Service of Ukraine and representatives of Ukrainian media arrived in the town. The bodies of the people whose images have been published by the Kiev regime are not stiffened, rigor mortis, are not stiffened after at least 4 days, have no typical cadaver stains, and the wounds contain unconsumed blood. The photos and the video footage from Bucha are another hoax, a stage provocation by the Kiev regime for the Western media. While it's difficult to attribute validity to the claims of the deceased in Bucha, are a part of the broader false flag orchestrated by the Ukrainian government, there is validity to Russia pointing out that despite withdrawing from the area on March the 30th, some of these reports and jarring photos of the region did not start circulating until April 2nd. What year is it? How quick do photos travel around the world?
Instantly.
When did, like yesterday, another story we're going to get to in just a little bit, Elon Musk purchased the biggest, so he basically is the biggest shareholder of Twitter now. That story spread how quick?
In a matter of a day, I think? Or
hours.
Yeah,
I would say 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Going on. However, a majority of these reports and images were published on April 3rd. With as quickly as news and information spreads in modern times, it is a curious aspect that it would take 3 to 4 days for some of these images and reports about Bucha to spread, especially considering how egregious the allegations are behind these images. Nonetheless, the Western media is certainly covering the matter, and this coverage is having an effect all the way up to the White House. Joe Biden had commented that Putin is a war criminal for what had happened in Bucha. I think it's a good point.
It is.
Think about how quick news travels. Such a serious occurrence, it's going to take 4 days to get that around the globe? Doesn't happen like that anymore.
So. No.
If you got something that's that big of news, boom!
Yeah. They find a way, too. Even if they cut their internet, they find some way to get the word out.
So regardless of what side you're on, what side of the story you're on, at least take that into consideration. That's something to consider.
And use your critical thinking if it makes sense.
Yeah.
To us, it makes total sense.
Take that information and you dissect it.
Yeah.
Don't just freaking obey it because, the guy in the 6 o'clock news said so. Honey, are we having pierogies with the sausage? Think about it a little longer. Weigh it out. Use some street smarts and just don't try. These people are all on the take, man. It's all we were talking about this last week. There's a guy that Del Bigtree has a podcast called The High Wire, and he's a former producer for the TV show Doctors, and he involved in the medical industry and all that stuff. And he was. While he was on the show, everything that he would be working on as the producer of this medical show, by the time it made to air, it had changed its narrative. The whole it's like, wait, that's not what the report we put together said. And he's like, hey, shut up and fall in line. So the messages are being conveyed completely incorrectly now. And people are sitting there buying it just because it's on the TV.
Yeah,
and you need to check him out. His name is Del Bigtree, and it's called The High Wire. And he goes behind the curtain, usually with everything that's involved with COVID and the injections and all that stuff. It's a big reality check as to what's really going on with all that.
Trump said that the media is the enemy of the people.
Right.
And it is.
It's totally more proof. Like him or not, no one's saying that you have to have dinner with Trump. No one's saying you have to sleep with the guy. No one says you're going to have to play golf with him. Just listen to the dude, man. He's not on the take. He's got more money than all those career politicians in Washington, D.C. He can't be bought.
He loves America.
And he's just...
Yeah.
he's doing all of this for a different reason than what they're all on the take, man. George Carlin said it. It's the people that are running not just the country but the world. It's one big private club, and you ain't in it.
Amen. Yeah. Speaking of stories, this just came in from Real Raw News. Deborah Birx.
Oh, geez, you're going to lead with this one?
Yeah, I'm going to lead. Hey, this is an incredible story. Deborah Birx was executed last July. Now, okay, for the record, I don't believe it either. But I hope. I don't want to see anybody killed, but she deserves that punishment for her treason to the country.
That is punishment for treason, isn't it?
That is punishment, yeah.
I mean, that's not according to us. It's according to the laws and stuff.
It's punishable by death, indeed. As I would say, wouldn't you consider Fauci to have committed treason?
I would say what he's done, yes. Yes. I'm not discussing the payoff. I'm not discussing the penalty.
Yeah. But the fact that he said that this thing was safe, and probably by now millions of people that have lost their lives as a result of.
And you saw the video that popped up last week with him. I think it's from the mid 80s when he said, "Listen, whenever you get a disease like naturally, the best way of being vaccinated."
Natural immunity.
Yeah. But you fast forward to 2018, 19, 20, this last couple of years, suddenly, no, the only way to treat it is by this.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened? What happened to natural immunity? You were saying it just a few years ago.
Yeah.
And we've got you on tape.
The narrative changed, man. They implemented their story. Yeah.
And some cash was involved.
Oh, of course.
So that that is not true.
Well,
because she just signed a book deal.
Her double signed a book deal.
Oh no, we got to save this for the end of the show, man.
But you know how they pay off the criminals too. It's always a book deal.
Is that how they do it?
They do it. How else are they going to give it? They can't just come up with a few $5 million undetectable dollars. And say...
Now, that would make sense.
Yeah, so here's a book deal. We'll even write it for you.
It's bribery.
Yeah.
With something attached to it that looks legit.
They all get book deals. Think about it. Bill Bard, isn't he putting out a book?
Cuomo did.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you might be onto something. More than a conspiracy theory here.
Yeah.
Good for you, man.
That's how they pay them all.
Standing ovation.
Thank you very much.
Pretend I'm standing.
Thank you.
Let's see. Kash Patel, you know who he is? He's the lead investigator for the House Intelligence Committee's 2018 probe into the FBI's investigation of alleged Trump-Russia collusion. He said the fact that the Hillary Clinton campaign is paying a penalty to Federal Election Commission, the FEC, is an admittance of guilt. He says, quote, "I think the public sees what that is.
Yeah.
It's their way of burying the narrative because if they contested what happens, more media coverage would be given to it and more people would start looking into these things."
They kind of want to sweep that under the rug as quickly as they can. Shh.
Make it go away.
Don't talk about it. Yeah.
Something else to consider?
Mm-hmm.
What else you got?
Well, as you had mentioned about Elon Musk, it's very interesting. We talked about the story where he took a poll. Was that just last week, wasn't it? Late last week, I think. He took a poll on Twitter asking if folks felt like freedom of speech was represented on Twitter. And the bulk of the people said, hell no.
I would say
hell no.
It should be more than a bulk of the people.
And the specation at that point was...
You got members of Al-Qaeda that are still on Twitter. And
Trump,
a former president.
Yeah, no, he's a criminal.
No, he doesn't meet the criteria.
He's a truth teller. Kill him.
Right.
It's terrible. But anyway, the speculation was when he took the poll, it was like, okay, I'm taking this poll, and the outcome could... affect something, affect change.
Right.
It's kind of what he alluded to. And in fact,
he's influence.
And he's just bought 9.2% stake in Twitter, which means...
Wouldn't it be cool if we could all do that?
Oh, yeah, right.
I don't like that restaurant.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to turn it around.
It's got to be Mexican.
You love Mexican food, just for the record.
Yeah. I could bathe in salsa, but anyway.
I think some days you do.
You smell it, huh?
That's why I'm sitting way over here, man.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he owns more shares, 4 times the amount of shares that the Twitter's founder, Jack Dorsey, owns.
Right.
You believe that?
He's a slow takeover here?
Well, basically, it's a very fast takeover.
I guess,
you know? He's at 99.2 stake, and Dorsey owns 2.25% of Twitter. And it's fascinating because as soon as this transaction took place, Twitter's stocks surged about 26%. Their shares surged 26%, and that stake.
People have more faith in it now.
Yeah, I think so. And what did it say? The amount of money that Musk made was $750 million in that trade.
Wow,
which is 2 times what Twitter's net income for the past 3 years has been.
And who got kicked off around then?
Yeah, Mr. Trump.
Did you see what his first tweet was?
No, you were saying something about that.
It was something along the... It was very short, 3 words. It was like, well, hello, LOL. And that's all it was.
And people were asking, is Musk a white hat or a black hat?
Well, this makes it sound like a white hat.
Yeah. And those of you that don't understand what a white hat is, that's a good guy. A black hat is a bad guy. And they're commonly referred to in the deep state or the black hat guys.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people saying, hey, welcome, thanks for doing that. Is Trump going to be allowed access now? Can we hear the truth again finally? Of course, you've got people that lean the other way that are like, oh, you son of a bitch, I didn't like you then and I don't like you now. And blah, 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 blah.
I wonder if he ever thought of changing his hair color. Would that do it? I mean,
speaking at a Save America rally in Michigan Saturday night, America's moms and dads must be given a veto. Oh, this is a quote from Donald Trump. America's moms and dads must be given a veto over anyone teaching far-left gender theories to their children in school without parental consent. This week, the Biden administration released guidance endorsing hormone therapy, puberty blockers, and sex change surgeries for children and minor youth. How twisted is that?
Why are they doing this? Critical thinking now. Why? We've lived our lives. We've never heard of anything like this ever. Why are they doing this?
Your kids aren't even done growing. The natural process is being thwarted as it's just starting because of a sick agenda that's being forced down your throat.
That's what it is, the agenda. Yes.
Who's on board with this? And getting back to faith over fear, let's start pushing back. This is twisted, man. This is evil.
It's very evil. The fact that they're telling you to take your kids, your children, and get this, when it doesn't even affect them.
Right.
Now, I mean, this affects them, but the disease doesn't affect them.
Did we see like a spike in heart attacks among 10-year-olds like in the last couple of months since the injection started? But, oh, well, no, that's just hogwash. No, it's not.
I have to say boldly that you will account for this one day of what you're doing to your children by pushing them to get this.
And the people that are pushing the agenda and are on board with the agenda, you have to know they ain't the masses.
No, they're not. They're just louder than everybody.
They're louder. And
why aren't we? There's so many more of us. We need to start screaming.
Have to be. And please, that's why you share this podcast and subscribe to it. Share this. Get it out there. Just say it for yourself. Start speaking up.
And make sure you rumble it. Rumble, 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 rumble. The little boxing glove. Click that plus sign.
On a Rumble page?
Yes. Yeah. It'll affect more people to be able to see it.
Trump goes on to say Biden's Department of Justice has also announced they will publish medical doctors who refuse to perform irreversible, highly controversial transgender procedures. will punish doctors that don't fall in line. This is our leader.
Have you ever heard of anything like this in your entire lifetime? You know, sometimes I think about my mom. She passed. Both of my parents are gone, and I think it sounds terrible on one hand, but I'm grateful that they're not here to have to live through this.
Right.
I mean, I can't even imagine what they'd be thinking. The paranoia.
There's got to be a turnaround soon. There has to be.
Something's got to happen in this alliance. I'm calling for the alliance. Come on. America needs you. The world needs you. We need to get this thing changed back. Take these people out.
Noting that the children have been the only group affected by these policies, Trump declared, quote, with their extremist sex and gender ideology. Now, again, I'm going to say this. If you hate Trump, if you're not on board with this guy, just listen to this. I'm not saying that this is going to sell you. This is more sane than what Biden just said. With their extremist sex and gender ideology, the Democrat Party is waging war on reality, war on science, war on children, war on women. Would you not agree? Are you going to agree with what Joe just said or what Trump just said? The Republican Party is now the party of American women and American children, and we will protect women in sports and not allow men to enter into women's games. Again, you don't have to sleep or have dinner with the guy. You don't have to shake his hand. You don't even have to be in the same state as him.
Yeah.
But you have to admit that is more sane than what Joe said.
I prefer sanity over insanity.
Are you just going to continue voting a certain way because there's a D or an R? Vote for sanity, man. Forget the D. Forget the blue and the red. Forget all of that.
But, you know, the problem with that is that it's not so much the votes, it's the people counting them. And that's where we've got to get these Dominion machines out of here.
And then we know that's illegitimate. We know that's completely in the gutter.
I would prefer paper ballots at this point, or let the military go in there, and let them deal with the election results. Something's got to go in there to protect the system and protect the people.
But there is a nice little bulk of people in our country that are only voting. Doesn't matter, he murdered his grandmother and is laundering money and wants your children. Whatever. Oh, he's a Democrat. I'll vote for him.
I remember. What? I remember my one in my family saying, "Oh,
that would be relative." You're looking for the word relative.
Yeah, but I didn't want to say that.
A member of my family. You just did.
Okay, but anyway, she thought Ronald Reagan was a very handsome man,
and that's the reason.
That was the vote.
I heard. I was at a party. Some friends of ours when we lived up in Milwaukee. And there was a person there that said, I voted for Obama because Oprah said so.
Oh, my gosh.
I wanted to vomit all over the kitchen table going, that's your research.
Yeah. And then we find out more about
you
Oprah.
get a car, vote for Obama. Okay.
Yeah. But I have found out who she really is, which I won't go into here.
We can only handle one of those stories per episode.
No, I mean...
No, I know what you're saying. She's supposed to have tie-ins with this, too. And, I'm trying to get on board with it, and there's a lot of it that makes sense. It's so twisted, though, that the mainstream personalities that we're all aware of could be connected to what you'll talk about real soon.
Yeah.
If you don't already know, I mean, it's the cabal and the this.
Let's just say children.
Yeah. And I've seen enough of what you've seen to believe that it is real. I'm still having a hard time associating these huge personalities, Oprah being one of them, being affiliated with this stuff.
Allegedly.
Because it is so dark, evil, and twisted. But you got to know it's happening. I'm just having a hard time believing, really?
But when you think deeply about it,
it makes sense.
It makes sense to me. It does. They're all above us. They can do what they want, and we are just the peasants.
And you have to know that anything that changes financially, it doesn't affect them.
No.
I mean, didn't Congress just give themselves 20% raises?
Yeah.
For what the rest of us are paying for?
Mm-hmm.
And living, you'll deal with it. Oh, thanks, Pete Buttigieg.
And aren't they giving the journalists, the propaganda journalists, $50,000 each?
I haven't heard that.
I believe I read that, and that was in the bill. One of those bills that they just recently signed. I can't remember which one.
One of the bills that gets signed at 2 a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Presented at 1 and signed at 2 with 1,800 pages.
No, more than that. I was going to say 18,000 pages.
Yeah. Plus tax.
Like Pelosi can read that quick.
Yeah.
She's too busy putting her teeth back in.
She can speed read with that vodka, you know. And the eyebrows way up here, you know. The double eyebrows.
All her little signs on camera. I still don't know what that was, but it was something.
It was a sign to somebody.
Oprah.
Yeah. What does that mean?
All right. Somebody was asking us yesterday, how do you guys find humor in all these stories? Really quick. We got an email.
Because we're out of Kleenex.
Right. It's so twisted. You have to find humor in it. I mean, it's so bizarre. If you don't laugh at some of this stuff, just to take away, just as a pressure release, you go nuts.
You really do.
Look at the libs. Going nuts.
Yeah.
A transgender female cyclist, back to the news, was blocked from participating in the Women's British National Omnium Championship over the weekend, as Emily Bridges is still registered as a male cyclist. This is according to The Guardian. Bridges, who is 21 years of age, set a national junior men's record over 25 miles in 2018, according to The Guardian, and adding that the cyclist began hormone therapy last year to reduce testosterone levels. However, a number of biological female cyclists discussed boycotting Saturday's event because they believe Bridges has an unfair advantage. Boy, do you think? She was born a dude, man. And you know what? She's still a dude.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry it ruins...
It's okay if you feel that you're not, but science is science. Science is not science fiction. Science is science.
In addition, Bridges is still registered as a male cyclist and can't race as a woman until the male ID expires. A comprehensive scientific review by 5 British sports councils in September said there were retained differences in strength, stamina, and physique between the average woman compared with the average transgender woman or binary person registered male at birth.
It just wears me out, and it seems like every day they add another one.
Are you man or woman? Well, let's see. I'm non-binary person registered male at birth.
Your wife said one the other day. I'm like, what's that? I'm totally lost.
I forget what it was. It's a third option.
Yeah. No, it was like the 18th option, wasn't it? Something like that.
Joe Biden's administration reportedly soon will overhaul rules for college athletes to favor transgender participants. Title IX is a 1972 law that bans sex discrimination in education. Also will outlaw discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. So athletic women, Joe Biden couldn't care less about you. If you were born a lady and you are into athletics, he does not give a... Do I need to repeat that paragraph?
Yeah.
So when he utters anything about equal rights and standards, you could pretty much chalk it up to one of his lies, which he's been doing his entire hacked up political career.
Yeah, professional.
And we've got it all on video.
Yeah.
He's lied about this. He's plagiarized that speech and another speech. And, it makes as much sense as when he speaks.
One thing that Trump did, and I'm grateful for, I think, is that he's exposed all these people, and he's taken the the blinders out of our eyes so we could actually see. At least he did for me, and I think a lot of other folks too. And more are waking up every day and thinking, something's not. This just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
What's going on here? And that's what our show is for.
My dad had told me years ago that he had a guy that used to work for him back in the 80s. His brother, I don't know, was like a janitor or something. He moved down south. He got into politics, and he made like $80,000 a year at whatever position in politics he was. And then when he died, he was worth like $25 million. And the math didn't work. And that's what Trump is exposing. You got all these people that go to Washington, and suddenly, on paper, they make $130,000. What $125 is what a senator makes. I'm not sure what the numbers are. But then all of a sudden you find out they're worth $40 million.
Exactly.
How is that done? And why would you be a fan? Why would you be in favor of a system that works that way and condones that? While you and I
are struggling,
making less, and keep paying more.
Yeah.
Again, they just got themselves a raise for the inflation that won't affect them.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also telling us it's going to be a little tough. Well, I tell you what, you just gave yourself a 20% raise, and since you're my employee,
and we're paying you,
all the elected officials are our employees, supposed to be. How come we don't get this? How come we weren't given the opportunity to say okay to your raise, Mr. Politician?
As an employer, when somebody's not doing their job, you have to fire them.
Right.
They're out. And we need to be doing that with Congress.
Term limits?
Well, yeah. I think that's a great thing.
Well, get rid of all of them first, and then
exactly.
Put in the term
Take out the 90% that are crooks and put in some real Americans.
And then when you run for office, you've got 4 years to either crap or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Or how many years is agreed on,
And take a look at their tax statements, every one of them, including every member of their family. So there's no laundering money or...
Well, Trump never did. Well, let's see. Trump went on record multiple times saying any financial shortcuts that you guys all put it into law.
Exactly.
You guys are the one, and you're questioning me on it? I used your plan. And now you're going to try faulting me for it?
But they did finally get his taxes, right?
I don't know.
I think they did. I think New York got a hold of them last I saw. So basically what I think Trump is incredibly smart. He's a genius, and I think what he's been doing...
That's why they hate him, because he's outsmarting all of them.
Yeah, but he's playing the system. He's like, okay, in the end, they finally got his taxes. So doesn't that mean we can now get Biden's taxes and Pelosi's taxes and all of their taxes?
Oh, no. Bill, this is a one-way street. You didn't see?
Yeah, but when
the cars go in one direction.
But when it hits court, they can't say no anymore.
Wow, you're just weird. What kind of thinking is that?
I know.
Just because you had to do it means I had to do it?
Well, there is some dreaming in my DNA.
Well, you need to wake up, sir. The insanity coming from you got you're taken care of, right? You got your stories out there.
I got another one, but you go ahead.
The insanity coming from the left when it comes to transgenderism and the LGBTQIA+. I like it better when Dave Chappelle just calls them the alphabet people.
Oh my gosh.
I can't do this anymore.
What's this IA?
What's the plus sign? What?
I feel like I got to go back to school,
right. It's a part of the SAT quiz. LGBTQIA+ agenda has reached absurd levels. Madison Cawthorn calls it all out.
Oh, yeah.
He's the state representative from North Carolina. He's the good-looking gentleman. He's in a wheelchair, so you might know who he is now.
A bold guy.
And I'm liking this young cat.
Yeah.
Every day. He says, quote, Madam Speaker, the left has ripped away the pen of truth from the author of life. in my description, that would be God.
Yeah.
Are we in agreement there?
Yes.
So the left has ripped away the pen of truth from the author of life. They've exchanged natural science for a party platform and declared war on biology. This is what he said to Pelosi. Your left-wing movement is forcing children to endure radical expressions of sexuality, and yet you can't even define what a woman is. You might amend the bill, but you'll never amend biology. Science is not Burger King. You can't just have it your way. I am the youngest member of the House of Representatives, and I never imagined that one of my sacred duties in this hallowed chamber would be explaining to the House Speaker the difference between a man and a woman. Take notes, Madam Speaker. I'm about to define what a woman is for you. XX chromosomes and no tallywhacker. It's so simple, and yet today, this proclamation of fundamental scientific fact will cause the woke liberals in Silicon Valley to strip you of your voice and ban you until you bow out at the altar of falsehoods. Patriots like Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson have been muzzled on Twitter for promoting the dangerous and bigoted ideology called science. Madam Speaker, you and your party are living a lie. The Babylon Bee is a more reliable source of fact than you.
Amen.
Perhaps it will click when you hand the gavel to Republicans and realize that truth is king. It reigns with the American speaker. And you, Madam Speaker, never will again. With that, I yield back.
Amen. What an incredible... Yeah, I have to applaud that, too. I
like
very
that,
cool.
dude.
Yeah.
Some of the people that had comments online.
What was Pelosi's response? Yeah. or
she ripped it up.
Or this.
Yeah. Oh, I got a blowout coming at the hair salon today. Let me pop some more pills. I'm going to build another wall around my wall or around my house.
Around my wall.
I'm going to build a wall around my wall. Because I want all you bastards out. I love this country.
Yeah.
I love everything about it.
Sorry. Welcome to the Freedom Ring.
That's why we laugh.
Yeah. The reality of it. Yeah.
Wow. Some of the comments online. Sometimes I'll look at this video later and go, man, you are an ugly son of a bitch. How did you contort your face like that? Some of the comments online, I'd rather him spill the beans on the cocaine-fueled rhino orgies that he mentioned last week.
Yeah.
Someone else said, ha, 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 damn, that was great. Now that's a real man with real balls to tell the sea hag what a woman is. And let's see. Additionally, women have menstrual cycles, ovaries, a vagina, and can carry life 9 months and give birth to a human being. That's what a woman is.
Amen.
So,
yeah.
You going to try to follow that one up?
Oh, this is easy.
Okay.
that ain't nothing. Not when you hear about this from Real Raw News. Look at him. He's like,
I have no idea what he's talking about.
He's bracing himself. Okay, so there is a CDC whistleblower that said there was a meeting on March the 4th, and according to the transcript from that meeting at the CDC's Atlanta headquarters, they discussed how elected officials were abandoning mask and vaccination mandates for fear of midterm defeat. At the meeting was Fauci, CDC Director Walensky, Secretary of Health and Human Services Xavier Becerra, and a number of other folks were there, including Moderna CEO Bancel. According to the source, a furious Bancel griped about the drop in vaccine sales, bemoaning America's reluctance to accept the frequent boosters and recurring mask mandates as part of the new normal way of life. They went on to say only 54% of the country is fully vaccinated and less are boosted.
I don't buy that.
What's wrong here? Yeah, I don't either. I think it's less.
Any number, any poll, anything. Didn't they say 80% like earlier in the year?
Yeah.
80% of people were already
were vaxxed.
Vaxxed, or does that not include the multiple boosters already? So,
Well,
if you don't have your 19th booster, you're considered in the 0 column.
Well, they change the definition all the time. So
They do.
It's hard to keep up.
But I don't buy that 54%. I don't buy that.
So they went on to say, don't you know that people are dying left and right of COVID, and that without boosters, more will die every single day? I beg to differ. In other countries, it's not like this. They welcome vaccines and boosters, Bancel reportedly said. We want mandates as much as you do, said Walensky, but the triple vaccinated people are still getting sick, either from COVID or the vaccine, and I'm not saying it's yours. I'm trying to choose my words very carefully here. If U.S. citizens believe the vaccine doesn't work, they will not take it. Everyone here wants Americans vaccinated, boosted, and hunkered down for the long haul. We have obstacles to overcome. We didn't think Ukraine would be a roadblock, Fauci said. Our friends in Europe and China will help force COVID back center stage, Becerra said. The source went on to say that the cabal spent hours discussing the fictitious BA.2 subvariant and how China intended to use it to strengthen public fear of COVID-19 by once again locking down enormous segments of its population, which happened just a couple weeks ago in Shanghai, put 26 million people on indefinite house arrest, and those people are now basically telling the CCP they need food. They need them to bring food because they won't even let them out to buy food. And folks, always remember, in China, the Chinese people are awesome. I'm married to one. Chinese are very sweet people. It's not them. It's the CCP. Two different entities. Mm-hmm. And in fact, many of the Chinese don't even like the CCP.
Has your wife commented on this?
What I can understand from her. I'm just joking. Yeah, she questions everything too. She always says, "Where did you find that out? Who is this person?"
Does she have communication with relatives back?
Oh yeah,
friends over there. And
yeah,
is this actually happening? Because we're finding out Ukraine.
I haven't asked her
different
that,
versions of different stories.
But I don't know that her family would even necessarily know about it. She does have one
because they're not allowed to communicate
exactly,
which is exactly what they want here.
Yeah,
and who the hell is cool with that?
And being on the phone, they can listen.
Do they have to get permission to use the phone if she wants to?
Oh no, but I mean, who knows who all's listening?
That's true.
But anyway. They went on to say that they want all the people to be vaccinated as well. Bancel questioned the hesitancy. Why the hesitancy in the United States to get the jabs and boosters? Fauci responded. He says they've stopped trusting us.
Boy, you think?
He says we must regain that trust.
You ain't getting it, bro. The trust train has left.
But as you had talked about fear, Becerra chimes in and he says, well, the best way to do that is scare the people shitless. That's exactly what he said.
Who said that?
Becerra.
Scare them.
Scare them to death. It's all fear-driven. And those of the meeting unanimously agreed to use every means at their disposal to bring about a COVID resurgence well ahead of the midterms. And it's funny. The very next day I read a story about another subvariant. I forget XE or whatever the heck it was called. They just name them whatever. It's on its way back.
It's so sad that someone's going to be sitting there in front of the TV screen just going, okay.
Yeah, I'll go get it.
I'll get it.
Honey, we got to go.
I don't think for myself.
And take Junior,
this
too.
This makes complete sense. We lived our entire life up until 2 years ago not having to worry about any of this. But it all makes sense, and I'm completely on board. That's sick.
It is.
It's sick and twisted. No.
Think for yourself,
You
folks.
ain't getting no twist or any trust out of us, man.
No.
Trust is gone, my man.
You got to earn your trust, and yeah, you're right. It is totally gone for me, and I will never trust any of them again. Be it Republican or
it's organized
like you
crime.
said, you're in or out. Yeah,
it's organized crime. R&D doesn't matter. Does not matter.
Not when your life is on the line, your family's life is on the line, this country's well-being.
Well,
is
you've
on the
already
line.
experienced. Trump came in and showed you what worked. one example, Keystone Pipeline.
And many people didn't believe him.
Keystone Pipeline's it's kind of like when the argument of who's better, LeBron or Michael Jordan. I know, 6 rings. What other argument you got in favor of LeBron? He's got 6 rings. It ends there. The argument ends there. When you're going to talk Biden and Trump, Keystone Pipeline.
Amen.
Done.
Yep.
We were independent, energy independent. We had gas prices that were way down here. Your wallet was a little fatter. I could sleep better because I knew that the bastard we had in the White House treated the other bastards around the country, around the world, like bastards.
Yeah.
And that's what they respect. That's what you got to learn, is the people that are running these other countries are all coming off as hard asses. When he walks into a room, all those hard asses kind of go, all right, we can't mess with this one.
Yeah.
And he grabs their hand and he pulls them in. When is the last American leader that shook Putin's hand, brought him in, and took ownership of the conversation?
I saw that clip. That was awesome.
When Putin went, ah!
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But as a result, Putin respects Trump.
Exactly.
He totally respects him. And they're friends. Mutual friends, you know?
I don't know if they're golf buddies, but...
No.
If they're riding horses topless. Hey, Donald, you look good today.
Putino.
Mi chiamo Vladimiro Putino, huh?
We meet Spoleto for some spaghetti. I don't know.
A Japanese Italian? What was that? You like spaghetti?
Yeah.
We make gnocchi. You gotta have fun somewhere. You go nuts.
You gotta smile for the day. Thanks for joining us, the Freedom Ring. I guess I should go down the
litany of platforms.
Where we are located. We are adding them daily, and now you will find them on every video post that we do. We're trying to put all the details so you can keep up with us. The Freedom Ring Show. We are online, freedomringshow.com. You can catch our show. Yeah, well, believe it or not, we do an FM radio show for an hour on ClassX Radio from 9 until 10, Monday through Friday, Eastern Standard Time. So you can catch us there. There will be links in the description box. Folks, be sure to subscribe to our channel. It helps us.
It's not a paid subscription. You're just
push the button.
Just push the button and be done with it, and don't worry about it. There's not going to be a bill showing up.
No.
It's not that type of subscription.
And the results of it is you'll get an email when we have a new video.
That's it.
So you don't miss us. And it also helps us financially as we try to monetize this, because we do want to eat. And the more that Rumble, click that Rumble button and the subscribe button, you can get it.
I used to eat when Trump was in office.
No more. So anyway, like, subscribe, share, depending on the platform that you're on. And you can watch us on Rumble. Give us a rumble when you're on Rumble. Watch, subscribe, and like on Bitchute. Watch, like, subscribe on YouTube. Join us on our Facebook group at The Freedom Ring. Also, we have a Facebook page called The Freedom Ring, which you can find. We are on gab.com. You just go into the groups and do a search for The Freedom Ring, and you'll find us there. And we are on that brand new blockchain as of, I think it was yesterday or the day before, Bastion. It's a blockchain social media not owned by anybody. It's not controlled by anybody. There are no CEOs. It's weird. I can't really kind of comprehend it, but it's open source. And it's Bastion, Bastyon. And I've been on it, and I kind of dig it. It's got the feel of Gab, probably more of Gab or Facebook, but probably more like Gab.
It's an open source, not to be confused with an open sore.
Oh my!
Two completely different things.
We can be the open source, right?
Depends on what side of the alley, right?
And our email, freedomringshow@gmail.com.
Are you kidding me?
That's
Why don't
it.
we just start a ticker so they can see it at the bottom of the screen?
But you get out the whip every day and you're like, more! To tomorrow I want Spotify, and the next one,
TikTok. We're going to be on TikTok by the end of the week.
We're working on that one. Thank you, folks, for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Have a good day. Be good to each other. And thank you for visiting the Freedom Ring.